Mabel said in a loud whisper, "Do me a favor, okay? Stop humming that tune." "Ah," Mabel said. "Everybody loves the teddy bear's picnic, Wendy." "Sorry. I'm so used to doing things with bro that I keep forgetting it's you in his head." "Duh." She crossed her eyes, pulled her hands inside the forest green sweater sleeves, and waved her arms to demonstrate how forgetful she was. "Yeah, it's an okay tune, but right at this particular minute I don't really want to be reminded that it's dangerous to go out in the woods," grumbled, head back, scanning the tree canopy. "I keep seeing those things, but they don't seem interested in us. If they wanted us for food, looks like one would attack. I'm starting to think that Dipper's idea was wrong and Pacifica's not captured. She may just be hiding someplace for reasons of her own." Mabel shrugged. "I'd go with what Dipper says, though. He's usually sorta right, even when he's mostly wrong." She tilted her head back. In the soft, greenish shade under the high tree canopy, she had no need to shield her eyes from the light. Far up, sometimes swinging from branch to branch, sometimes scuttling up the trunks or along the horizontal hanging webs, the spider monkeys, Oregon spider monkeys, she mentally corrected, weren't exactly common, but they weren't rare either. In an hour she'd seen 5 or 6 of them, with brown furry bodies shaped sort of like a football that had been blunted on both of the sharp ends, arms and legs that were super long and rickety looking, and like a monkey's feet, their paws looked very much like hands, and heads so small that they couldn't even be seen from a distance. Or maybe they didn't have heads, Mabel decided. Maybe the bodies were really heads, and they didn't have bodies. Anything was possible in Gravity Falls, where anomalies that were commonplace were the stuff that, elsewhere in the world, certain people never saw but fervently believed in, if they were the sort of people that glared straight ahead of themselves while sitting on the subway and furiously argued with their invisible friends. "Hey," said, coming to such a sudden stop that Mabel ran right into her back, making them both stagger a little to keep themselves from falling. "Sorry, Dip, oh, fudge cake and vinegar sauce. I mean Wendy." "What is it?" was pointing way up and slightly to the right. "Is that a cocoon sort of thing hanging off the limb up there?" Mabel looked but saw only trunks and leaves and a crisscross of webbing. "Where?" "Redwood." "No, Mabel, that's a cedar. Over to the left." "No, now you're looking up a lodgepole pine. The redwood, dude. See the real straight tree with the rough textured, peeling reddish-brown bark? They're all the same." Mabel complained. "They're trees. They are not the same. Girl, I'm gonna have to take you to lumberjack camp for a week." "Sheesh. Look right where I'm pointing." "Got it now?" That one?" "Right. Now way up. See where the branches start on the left side? Count up 3 and it's hanging off about in the middle." And there it was, hard to spot against the browns and greens, but once she had it, easy, a saggy kind of poachy light green bag, sort of like a 70% deflated balloon. "Oh, yeah. But that couldn't be Pacifica. It's way too small." "About the size of a punch-in bag," agreed. "But let's check it out. If there's like a stunned possum in it, we'll know Dipper's idea was on the right track, anyway." They reached the bole of the tree, and took off her belt. Dipper's shorts promptly fell to his ankles. "Oh, man. This ain't gonna work. My arms and his belt are both too short for a belt climb." She tugged the shorts up and threaded the belt back through the loops. "What are we gonna do?" Mabel had donned her forest green sweater with a banana applique before they'd headed out as appropriate garb for invading spider monkey territory. She reached inside and produced her favorite possession. "Grappling hook," she said triumphantly. Grinned, though Dipper's face showed the expression. "Dude, you're always prepared." "Naturally." She took aim and fired, and the hook flew up, over, and around the same branch from which the greenish pouch dangled. Onwards, Mabel and Wendy. "Grab hold." The zip up into the canopy was like riding a very fast elevator, or an insane carnival ride. At the zenith of their ascent, let go, her momentum carrying her the last couple of feet up, and grabbed the branch, swung back, and then swung forward and up, took her hands off the branch, flipped in the air, and landed on the limb close to the trunk, standing and holding out her arms for balance. Behind her, Mabel clambered up onto the branch more awkwardly. Whoa ho ho! Oh, man! Dipper would be totally stoked if he knew his body could do that. It can, but he can't. Not that he never could. Just takes practice. Okay, I can get most of the way out before the branch. Shoot, what am I saying? Dipper's not nearly my weight. I think I can go all the way out to that thing. You stay here, okay? Okay. And don't look down. Okay. I'm over my fear of HHHH. What's wrong? I looked down. Well, don't. I won't. But I already did. Just hang on tight. I'll be right back. Carefully walked along the springy branch, putting one foot squarely in front of the other. When she was nearly to the pouch, she lay along the branch on her stomach and reached around to probe it. Yuck! It's like all sticky. Kinda like Velcro or some junk like that, but coated with half-dried honey. And it's not heavy enough to have a possum in it. Think I should rip it down and bring it back? Aha! Mabel! Stop looking down. No, I'm looking at the bag. Wendy, look at the bag. What about, oh my God, jerked her hand back. About a zillion little scuttling things were pouring out of a vertical rip in the web bag, and 3 of them were already creeping on her hand. She shook it and they flew off into space, but one shot out a web that snagged her fingers. She quickly swept her hand down past the branch, snagging the web and losing her passenger. Already about 100 more of the little brown things, the size of a Concord grape or a little bigger, had reached the branch and were skittering in any direction they could find. Tightrope walked, no, correction, Tightrope ran, back to Mabel, adjusting her balance constantly, compensating for the way the limb bounced under the weight of Dipper's body. Let's get out of here. Grab hold. Mabel released the grappling hook, brake, and the 2 of them zizzed down, slowing only when they were halfway, and they made a fairly soft landing. Then Mabel twitched the line, and the hook retracted. Man, said, trying to peel the sticky fragments of web from her hand, wiping it off onto the tree trunk. It was an egg sac. Look at those little creepers up there. They're all coming down on their own web strings. Wendy! You got one on your back, yanked off Dipper's vest and found the critter. She picked it up between thumb and forefinger. It squirmed and waved all 4 legs wildly. Mabel grimaced. Don't let it bite you. I don't think it can, Mabel. Mouth's not big enough. Look at its tiny little head. Mabel peered more closely at the struggling brown creature. Where was its head? Oh. She saw it, absurdly small even for a grape-sized critter, no bigger than the head of a pushpin. And now she could see it was an actual spider head, with 2 larger black eyes, 3 others that were so very tiny they were hard to spot, and a couple of pumping, flicking furry-looking fangs that twitched angrily. Aw, it's adorable! Mabel exclaimed. Matter of opinion, put the little animal on the trunk of the redwood, and it immediately began to scramble up toward the canopy. Wonder how they taste. Mabel said seriously. Wendy, very sincerely and with no humor intended, ew, gross, chuckled, then said, Hey, Mabes, I always wonder, when you use your grappling hook, how does it manage to untangle itself and come right back to you every time like that? Mabel shrugged as she tucked the grappling hook back inside her sweater. I don't know, it's a mystery. Well, okay, said. So now we know the spider monkeys can definitely spin cocoon-like things, even if that one didn't hold their dinner. Call Dip and report and we'll go back to where the phone was. Mabel gave her a surprised glance. What? We're going back? We're quitting without finding Pacifica? No, we're not quitting. Look, Mabes, I should have thought of this before, should have reasoned it out like Dip would. These things are kinda solitary, you know? We see them, but they're really spread out, like they might be territorial, and we only see one at a time. But the size of them, well, just one of them couldn't have grabbed my body and hauled it up. They must have worked together if they did that, like the baby ones tried to do when they came after me. But I don't think even a couple dozen of the grown-up ones could carry me very far, so if my body is hanging up in the trees, it would have to be just about above where the phone was layin'. You follow me? Elementary, my dear Wendy. Mabel said. I'll call Dipper and we'll talk while we're walking. Good, told Mabel on the phone a few minutes later. I should have come up with that idea earlier. I don't know, maybe having my mind in Pacifica's brain is screwing up my logic centers or something. But here's one upside, if the things have such little heads, then their fangs most likely won't contain enough venom to do real damage. Unless they don't have stingers, do they? Big nope on that, bro girl. Wendy held one in your fingers and it didn't bite or sting. Held it in my fingers? Ew. My reaction too. Mystery twins. Okay, so let me think, this bag thing, the egg sac or whatever, was green, you say? Yeah, like the webs. Well, sort of a pale celery green. Pretty attractive color for a unisex bathroom, I'd say. Ooh, or a mohair sweater. Dipper, write this down, memo. Buy some pale celery green mohair yarn. Got that? Held the phone in his left hand and with his right feverishly clicked one of his thinking pens before making a quick scrawl. Focus, Mabel. Hey, I think I've got it. If it's up there, I'll bet anything it's camouflaged. Some Lepidoptera glue things onto their cocoons to make them hard for predators to spot. The emerald moth does that with leaves, the Australian case moth does it with sticks and twigs. Look hard and see if you see something that looks like a big hanging bag with, I don't know, leaves or pine needles or something glued all over it. Gotcha. We'll be back where we found the phone in about a minute. Don't forget to write down I've done it already. Call me back after you search. But if you spot anything, call me at once. Too fidgety to sit still, got up and paced in a circle, to the clicking beat of his ballpoint pen. He didn't even hear the attic door opening, and when Soos said, Pacifica, he jumped a mile. He must have looked guilty when he spun. Soos tilted his head and gave him a long, puzzled look. No offense, Pacifica, but what are you, doing up here in Dipper's room? Where's he and Mabel? I'm not here. They're not here. But I sighed. Soos, I'm just gonna level with you, man. You remember the electron carpet that was in Great Uncle Ford's old room? Huh? Oh, the zappy rug? Yeah, it turned me into a pig. Man, what a day that was. Though I did like the food. And the mud was a lot of fun. And I met that real nice lady. Old Man McGucket kept trying to eat me, though, and that wasn't cool, dude. And he was still trying for about a week after that. You know, I'm glad he got his memories back, 'cause now he doesn't try to eat people so much. What were we talking about? The electron carpet. Look, Mabel and Pacifica, Mabel and you. No. Pacifica. I'm Dipper. Whoa. You're freaking me out, Pacifica. Okay, remember, the carpet switches minds around? Like you were in Waddle's body? Yeah. When Old Man McGucket wanted to make bacon out of me. You know, bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches would be great for lunch. Soos, please. Concentrate, man. You're a lot smarter than this. Soos chuckled awkwardly and shrugged. Yeah, usually I am, Pacifica, but, you know, I got a lot on my mind. Melody may be expecting. Well, first of all, remember I'm not really Pacifica. I'm Dipper inside Pacifica's. Wait, what? You're gonna be a dad? Soos winced and looked guilty. I wasn't supposed to say anything about that until we're sure. Don't tell on me, okay, Pacifica? Dude. High five. All right. Well. Congratulations. You'll make a great dad. Now, about that electron carpet. Whatever you do, you're paying attention? Oh, yeah. Don't get rid of it. Get rid of what, Pacifica? The carpet. Okay, I got it hidden in a closet somewheres. I'll take it out and burn it. No. 5 minutes later, Soos, sitting on Dipper's bed, frowned in heavy thought and said, "Let me recap this to see if I got it, okay?" Sighed. Okay. Go. Mabel and Pacifica swapped bodies for some reason you don't know. Right. Then for some reason you don't know, Pacifica, in Mabel's body, swapped with Wendy, only Wendy didn't know about it and didn't want to swap. Correctamundo. Okay. Let me pause just a second. So now we got Pacifica in Wendy's body and Mabel in Pacifica's body and Wendy in Mabel's body. Check. Check-o-rooney. So then Pacifica in Wendy's body goes off to find you in the woods for some reason you don't know, but that's where I thought you and Mabel were, but you weren't really, but then she was. Hambone, I mean, Mabel. Yes, Soos. But she gets lost or some junk, and you come back here, and Mabel in Pacifica's body comes back here, and when you're all up here, then Mabel and Wendy who's in Mabel's body swap, so Mabel is now in her own body and Wendy is now in Pacifica's body. You got it. Okay. So. Then Wendy swaps with you, Dipper. So Wendy's now in your body, and you, Dipper Pines, are in Pacifica's body. Yes. I'm way confused, dude. Let's go through that again. Hi. Okay, don't have a hemorrhage, dude. Okay, I think this'll settle it. Can you, prove you're really Dipper somehow? How can I do that? Well, I got it, said. Listen, Soos, this is something that only you and I would know. You and me, we're pterodactyl brothers, right? Right. High five. Sighed and gave him the up-high slap. I'm glad we got that clear. Now about the carpet. Hey, wait a minute, Pacifica. We'd have to be, pterodactyl siblings. 'Cause you're like a girl dude. Also, you told me it's not really pronounced pterodactyl, but he wiggled his fingers, encouraging a response. Pterodactyl. The P is silent. Soos laughed. Boy, it's not when I do it. You should hear Melody complain when I get up in the middle of the night, pounded his head on the desk. Well, Pacifica's head. I should just go get the carpet and Waddles, he thought. It would be easier to explain all this to Waddles in Soos's head. However, the next second a miracle occurred. But, the really important thing, Soos said slowly, is I can't get rid of the carpet or lock it back up in the closet or anything until you all get switched back into the right bodies, am I right? Yes. Yes, you are. Exactly. Finally. Thank you, Soos. No problem, Pacifica. Oh, I gotta replace the light on the landing, bulbs burned out. But I won't move the carpet, and I'll leave the closet open. Unless I'm supposed to lock it back up. No, you know what? Let the bulb go until later, and just totally forget about the carpet. I think that right now you should go make some yummy bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches for lunch. Hey, that does sound good. Yeah, I'll do that. But he paused in the doorway. Pacifica? I meant to ask, why are you, in Dipper's room? Fortunately, at that moment the phone chimed and scrambled to learn what Mabel had discovered. Mabel's urgent voice rang in his ears as answered the phone. Dipper. Agent M here. Code flannel. She spoke so rapidly that barely understood. Code what? Mabel, calm down, Mabel giggled. You sound so cute when you try to be forceful in Pacifica's voice. But I ain't got time to calm down, Dip. We found Wendy's body, we think. Maybe, felt Pacifica's heart beating faster in his chest. Okay, where? You know the coordinates you gave us to help us find the phone? Threw a scatter of loose papers from his desk and grabbed the one on which he'd scribbled a copy of the numbers. Yes. Okay, same coordinates, due up. Wait, what? It took a few seconds to process that. Oh, you mean I was right? In the trees? She's hanging in a cocoon? Well, there's something up there, but it's like camouflage with leaves and stuff. It's kinda attractive, really. It could use a little more symmetry, and I would have used different leaves, Mabel. He heard her sigh. Right, back to business. It's way up in A, what kind of tree, Wendy? Never mind the species. Well, Miss Grumpy Pants, forget it then. But, Dip, there are all these monkey spiders swarming around up there. Not monkey spiders. Oregon spider monkeys, heard his own voice, we're wasting time. Gimme that. Hey, Dip. Wendy here. Look, dude, we think we probably have her, and whatever's in that bag up there is moving so it's not too late, but, dude, we gotta climb to get her, and it's about 2 feet too high for Mabel's grappling hook to reach. You gotta bring me some equipment. Now, here's what I need. It took him 5 minutes to round it all up, including a hatchet, and another 30 seconds to persuade Soos it was an emergency. Soos yelled, "Han! I'm on like a rescue mission. Watch the shack!" From the gift shop, Melody called back, "Go get em. Let me carry that, Pacey, Dipper." Soos grabbed the big coil of rope, and then they ran out the door. Behind them, Melody called, "Drive carefully, darling." As they sprinted toward the jeep, said to Soos, "You are one lucky man. Tell me about it, dog." Okay, seatbelt buckled, Dip. Hey, dog, can I call you Pack Dip? Makes rememberin' easier. Whatever, sure, just go. It's like urgent? Wendy's been captured by giant spiders, and they've hung her in a tree. Oh. That sounds urgent. Hang on, Dadet. Dadat Tada. Charge. Heh. Always wanted to do that. Soos floored the accelerator. The jeep left the ground as they went over a low hill, pounded back down, and reached the highway. No time to obey traffic laws. Without pausing at the stop sign, Soos made the tires squeal as he cut into a hard left turn. Other way. Other way, yelled, hoping that he wouldn't wet himself. You shoulda said. Hang on. The jeep cut a tight donut, tires smoking, and Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Durland, heading toward town in their cruiser, had to jam on the brakes to avoid a collision. Soos stopped, the jeep at least pointing in the right direction, as the lawman pulled up alongside. Blubbs rolled down the window of his cruiser and said, "Hold it right there. You committed an 1103, a 1604, and possibly a WD-40. Beside him, Durland called, "Where's the fire, boys?" "It's not a fire," yelled back. "We're going to save our friends from giant spiders. Come and help us." "Spiders?" asked Blubbs nervously. "Sorry, but my deputy suffers from arachnophobia." Durland objected, "No, I don't. I'm just scared of spiders, is all." Blubbs smiled and waved. "But have fun," yelled, "Go, Soos, go! To the river, then turn south." "Those are real nice guys," Soos said as the view through passenger window became a green blur of motion. Reserved his opinion. It ordinarily would have taken Soos about 10 minutes or a little more to reach the spot, but that day he made it in 6. Here, pull off on the grass," yelled, and Soos did. There was a wide enough grassy shoulder for the jeep to rest well off the road. They spilled out, Soos grabbing the rope, and yelled, "We're here." "Where are you?" Faintly, to their right and from deeper in the woods, came Dipper's normal voice, "Over here." "Hurry up, Dip." That's you, dude. Soos gasped as they ran toward the sound. It's Wendy. She's in my body, remember? Oh, yeah, Pac-Dip. Hey, can I call her like Wendip? Whatever. Hey, Wendy, yell again. Over here. They pushed through brush. Now they could glimpse the river, past the last stand of trees. And standing beneath a tree that grew in a sort of clearing of its own were Mabel and Dipper. Or Wendy in Dipper's body. We got the stuff you asked for. Dipper panted. I'm so glad to see you guys. He dropped almost everything he was carrying and hugged Wendy. Mabel's phone clicked as she took a photo. Blackmail, she said in her soft, evil voice. Ha! Pacifica. Hey, Mabel, Soos said, my name for him is Pac-Dip. Give me the belt, said. And the axe. This do? Asked, handing her the hatchet. Yeah, it'll have to. Man, Dipper, you got like no waist. With some difficulty she jammed the handle of the hatchet down through Dipper's belt. How long's that rope? About 100 feet, Soos said. Okay, let me see if I can carry it. Awkward. Dipper, I am gonna recommend an exercise routine for you. You gotta build up your strength, said, yeah, and Grunkle Stan wants me to have boxing lessons. Couldn't hurt. Your belt, Soos? Yeah, dog. Is it okay? Hit the tree bowl with the belt like a slap bracelet, and she caught the other end. Perfect. Wish me luck. Man, look at him go. Soos said as used the belt to hitch herself up the tree. Dude, you're like a lumberjack, Pac-Dip said. I had no idea my body could even do that. Hey, I didn't notice, but there's the Oregon spider monkeys. He grabbed his camera and began shooting, standard shots, zooms, extra long zooms. I have to show these to Great Uncle Ford. They must have drugged Pacifica up right here, Mabel said. I'm standing where we found the phone, and there's the cocoon right overhead. See, had trouble noticing it, the camouflage was nearly perfect, but it was heaving and twitching as the spider monkeys swarmed around, attaching new lines as old ones snapped. Wendip is up there. Soos yelled. Clenched his teeth as he saw his own body walk out along the limb. A spider monkey rushed Wendy, and she twirled the hatchet and discouraged it. The wounded animal fell to the ground with a thump and rushed over to photograph it. It seemed more stunned than harmed, and he retreated as it got back up on its 4 spindly legs and scuttered over to a more distant tree, which it climbed in a hurry. Mabel yelled, "Look out, Wendy! One coming down behind you!" Up on the limb, Dipper's body spun, the hatchet hissed through the air, and the spider monkey plummeted as the blade severed its web. Now all the creatures had retreated. Dipper's body lay down on the limb, leaned over, and tied the rope to the base of the leaf-covered sack. Heard his own voice, "Stop struggling if you don't want to fall. We're here. We got you now." And pretty faintly, muffled and sounding weak, Wendy's voice from the cocoon, "Dipper? You came to rescue me?" "I love you," winced at the words. They were in the right voice, but they came from the wrong mind. "Okay down there," called, "I'm gonna lower her down. If I lose my grip, try to break her fall. I don't know how strong Dipper's arms are gonna be." Soos promptly lay down on the ground directly under the cocoon. "Use me like a big old trampoline," he yelled. Cutting the cocoon loose, ugh. "Here she comes," yelled, "hang on." "You can do it," had tied off one end of the rope around the limb, the other to the cocoon. She leaned back, straining, threading the rope around her waist, letting the slack fall in a long loop. "Hurry!" Mabel yelled. "Some of the spiders are coming back. They're in the next tree." "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh," said, looking around for something to throw. "Hey, Pac-Dip!" Soos said from the ground, "Can you use a flip? You know, a slingshot?" Yeah, but Mabel's better." Hambone, look in the toolbox behind the back seat of the Jeep. Slingshot there and a bag of ball bearings. Kind of a hobby of mine. Mabel dashed through the underbrush. Up on the limb, Dipper's body strained and grunted as slowly, penduluming, the cocoon came down foot by foot. Yelled, "Hurry up! One's on the end of the limb." The brush crashed and Mabel said, "Got it." "Don't hit Wendy," yelled. Mabel loaded a metal pellet, tilted her head back, stuck her tongue in the corner of the mouth, drew a bead, and, thwop. The spider monkey jerked and fell from the limb, catching itself on a hastily spun webline, and swung back to the other tree. The others hesitated, obviously scared of whatever had knocked their friend off its perch. "Ha!" Mabel yelled, doing an air punch. "You want some more of that? Come on, you freaks of nature." "Dog," Soos said. "You're usually, kind to animals. I'll be kind when they're not trying to eat my brother and my friend." Soos yelled, "I gotta drop this. I can't hold it any longer." "You got it? Bombs away, Wendip. It's just 10 feet or a little more. Here she comes." The rope caught the bag when it was inches from Soos's stomach. "Good deal. Let's get her out of there," said. "Wait, is that me?" Wendy's voice asked from inside the cocoon. "Comin' down," yelled. She grabbed the rope and slid down it. "Look out below!" Soos had pulled out his pocket knife and cut the knot on the mouth of the cocoon. He lifted it and moved it aside and got stuck to it in the process, and Dipper's body came down fast and landed hard. "You okay?" Mabel asked, helping up. "Yeah, but man, that was hard. You gotta get in better shape. Promise me." "I promise," said. "What is going on?" "And I'm in great shape," helped Soos get unstuck from the webbing. "Give me the knife," he said. "Okay, I'm gonna cut you out. Don't squirm or anything." It was a tedious process. If the cut web stuff touched itself, it tended to seal right back up again. But finally, with Soos's and Mabel's help, was sitting on the ground, keeping an eye on the spider monkeys, though they seemed to be mostly arboreal and reluctant to approach them. "There you are," said as he saw Wendy's face inside the cocoon. "Did they bite you?" "Bite me? No, no. I was looking for Dipper, and I climbed up in a little tree, that one, to get a better view, and something grabbed me and I hit it, and then it started to wind the sticky junk all over me, and some others came. Ugh, they're horrible." "You're going to need a long hot bath, dude," Soos said. "Not all of this is coming off. And I think you're gonna need a change of clothes." From where she leaned against the trunk of the tall tree, said, "Spare clothes in the locker at the shack, no problem there." At last they freed, though as Soos said, her clothes were a mess of sticky residue, and her long, beautiful red hair was matted with the disgusting green goop. "Got up. Okay. Soos, you take the others back. She and I will come back in the golf cart." "You, sure?" "Yes. We need to talk." As they climbed into the cart, said, "You, want me to drive, Dipper?" "I can do it. Why'd you even come out here?" Man, I just wanted to find you, and, ask you if you really, really loved me." "Wendy! How can you ask that after all our passionate makeout sessions? After I gave you the engagement ring? After we set the date for your 18th birthday? Nah, I can take you or leave you." Don't joke, Dipper. It's important to me. Honestly, now, do you really love me?" Gave her a weary stare. "And if I said I really, really do, what then?" Well, Pacifica has some feelings for you, Dipper." Dipper knows that very well. "Only I'm not him at the moment." "I'm Wendy," began to blush. "Oh, the carpet, huh. Wait, is that still Mabel in my body? Guess again." "Oh, Is it? I messed everything up. She began to cry. Don't do that. This is bad enough, me sitting here looking at myself covered in that mess. Look, Pacifica, Dipper and I do like each other. A lot. But there's the age thing, you know? So we've agreed to give it time before we get real serious, if we ever do. People change. He likes you already, not the same as he feels about me, but he likes you. He won't, though, if you keep doing stupid things like this. It is stupid, agreed. I'm stupid. No, you're not. You're just messed up with, like, teen hormones. Happens to us all. Look, take some advice from an older girl, okay? Don't try to rush it. True love doesn't happen at 13. You think it does, but it's just, like, the hormones talking over your brain. Give it time. You know what I most regret about when I was 12 and 13? I didn't just have fun and goof around with my friends. This is the time for that. I don't have any friends. Bull. Mabel. Dipper. Probably lots of others, if you'd loosen up. Relax. You don't have to be Pacifica Perfect Northwest all the time, chuckled. When you get home, I think you're gonna find that Mabel's done a little work on your family. If they ease up, promise me you'll try to do that, too, sniffled. Well, all right. But it's hard. Not any harder than lowering you to the ground, I'll bet. Dipper's palms are blistered, and his shoulders are gonna ache for like a week. Hey, girl to girl, why do you like him so much? I don't know, she wailed. He's not cute, he can't really dance, he's like the world's biggest nerd, and he talks about stuff I don't even understand. But, he's kind. He's the kindest boy I ever met. And loyal. And he's got guts, said. Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm halfway in love with him myself. And we may get there yet. But we're giving it time. You willing to do that, too? Yes, I guess. Yes. Then we've made some progress, made the turn onto the Mystery Shack driveway. All right. Now let's go in and get changed. She grinned as she stepped out of the golf cart. And I mean that literally.